For the first fight of the night, kicking it off in Sao Paulo, we've got Kaue Fernandes making his UFC debut at 8-1 record, going up against Marc Diakiese. Now with his 15th fight in the UFC, he's been in here for a while. 7-7 in the UFC, 16-7 overall. So came in undefeated, came in with a lot of hype, especially early in his career, but it sort of petered out, going 2-4 over his last 6. But really, it's been a tale of who he's fought. He's 2-4 in his last 6, but over the course of his career, his losses come to Rafael Fiziev, Dan Hooker, Jakar Close, Nasrat Haqparast. So he's got a bunch of really good losses on his record, which isn't really a flex or anything to really ride home about a guy. But he came in with a big kickboxing background and came in with the nickname Bone Crusher. He still holds it now. He's not as much of a bone crusher anymore, but he really came in with a very aggressive style, and he's worked on his wrestling game a lot since his time in the UFC, and you'll see that used in this fight more than likely. But it's taken away from some of those other elements. So he's had a bit of an issue finding what works well for him, and he's facing a guy in Fernandes who's going to throw everything at you as much as he can for as long as he can last. And so we've got an interesting fight where a more tentative veteran Diakiese is fighting Fernandes, who comes in. And it'll be interesting to see just how long Fernandes can last, and if Diakiese can get to another decision and just outlast Fernandes. But Andy, what do you have on this fight?
Yeah, I think it's super interesting where Fernandes seems to be the new toy for this weight division that's going to be similar to Marc Diakiese, where he's got that Muay Thai striker background. He's also got a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, which I find to be pretty fascinating, that he's going to be able to combine both of those and really put a couple of different looks towards Marc Diakiese, which should be a fun thing to watch. I think Diakiese has started to improve his wrestling a bit. His striking has really been his specialty for a long time, but I wouldn't necessarily consider it as special as it once was, right? I think that we've seen him start to fall off, as you said, 2-4 in the last 6. He also was previously a heavier favorite, like anywhere from -200 to -190, dipped down to around -150 last night. And then he is now back up to around -175 in some spots. The best spot you can get him right now is -139 on Bet Rivers. But a lot of these places now have him up to -145, -160. So people are starting to go back onto the Diakiese train as far as betting goes. I don't think that he really likes getting hit, even though he's only 30. Like, he has a lot of tread on the tires. I think that with that, Fernandes is going to be able to hit him, and he should be able to put some damage on him in the first round. I think what really concerns me is the gas tank of Fernandes, where if he doesn't make it past, if he makes it past the first round and a half, he could really see Diakiese, who is more of a seasoned vet, outlast him, even though Diakiese may not have that knockout ability that we would want to see from like someone in this opening fight. Are you worried at all about the gas tank for the newcomer here?
No. Okay. Yes, I am. I think that it might not come into action unless he can't get the finish. I think that coming in on short notice, that we could, like, his gas tank already wasn't good. I think he's going to sell out for a finish. And if he doesn't get the finish, then, like you said, as the fight goes on, second, third round, Diakiese, and I've butchered his name multiple. I've said it different every single time now. Apologies to Mark, but I think that we'll end up seeing a finish. I think that I'll just say Mark. I think that Mark has gone to a lot of decisions due to his passive style, and Fernandes is going to force it out of him. And now on this 2-4 streak, trying to keep his place in the UFC at 7-7, I think that we're going to end up seeing a finish, either early by Fernandes or late by Diakiese. And that fight not to go the distance at +105 is a good bet for me. That's the bet that I'm going to take on this. And I lean Diakiese. The experience, I think, is a lot for me at -175. I wouldn't bet it ever at -175, but I lean him to win the fight.
Yeah, so I'm actually going the other way. I think that there's going to be a lot of hype. You also have the home crowd, and even though not everyone's going to be filtered into the arena yet, Fernandes will still have that home backing, being in Brazil. That crowd is going to be absolutely rabid. They always are. They always put on a really good show down there, which is awesome, whether it's Sao Paulo, Rio, wherever they take them in Brazil. I think, too, that it's going to be a lot for Diakiese to handle, where that first round is going to be the true test, right? If he really pieces him up, maybe even if he does tire out a tad, he still is able to put enough on in the first round, first 7.5 minutes that then he is able to able to like just finish the deal and get it, whether it's by finish or do enough damage in the first 2 rounds that he can win enough and win the fight by decision. So I'm going to go with Fernandes money line plus 145 for a unit on DraftKings. Rick is going with Diakiese as his pick, but not as his bet. He is going with fight not to go the distance at, you said minus 105?
Plus 105, plus money.
Plus 105. So 2 plus money picks here. We will be right back as we head into Eduardo Mora versus Montserrat Conejo Ruiz.